So, welcome to the day 4 of our financial tips on how to live a financially stress-free life. I still remain your host, Mr. Anole Fuchisom, aka Mr. Investments, the founder of the Stress Free Money Zone. So, yesterday on the day 3, we looked at the meaning of financial growth, and we equally looked at the measures of financial growth, where we identified 5 measures of financial growth. If you missed the day 3, which is yesterday, I urge you to pause this video right now and go back to the day 3 and watch it, because all these day programs, they are actually interconnected. So if you miss any day, it's going to affect or limit your understanding of the following day teachings. Thank you very much, and I apologize for the lateness in uploading the video. I had a very busy day today, but I had to, because of the commitment I have for this video, I said I must do this video even if it means doing it late at night. So let's get to the business of the day. We are still on financial growth, and today we are going to be looking at the hindrances of financial growth. What are the hindrances to financial growth? I have identified few factors I believe hinders our financial growth, and the number one factor we are going to be looking at today is debt. Is what? Debt. I know this I don't know if if it sounds strange, but we're going to be looking at debt. Debt is one of the things that hinders financial growth of a person. Yes, debt is not a sin, and business wise, it is not a bad thing to be in debt. But where the issue or where the cocoa is in what we do with funds gotten from a loan and all that, how we manage our debt. That is where the cocoa is. Because when you go and borrow money, for example, now to buy yourself a cloth, or to buy yourself a judge, to buy your wife a judge, or to buy jewelries, to buy a family car and all that, you discover that it limits how far you grow financially. But when you borrow money for investment, for business purposes, for assets, it's a different ball game, because that is actually going to have a return on investment, thereby increasing your source of income. So when we borrow money for luxury, when we borrow money for liabilities, it affects our financial growth. That is why debt is one of the hindrances to financial growth. Then another point we can also look at, which is the number 2, is living above or beyond our means. That is living beyond your income. I've said this when we are talking about measures of financial growth. When we live above our means or beyond our means, it hinders how far we grow financially. And so many persons, because of environmental factors, social peers and social factors and all that, they tend to live a life that they know that they are not truly worth, but because they want to feel among, because they want to belong to a certain social class, because they want to impress people around them, to make them to understand that yes, I am equally doing well. I can afford to ride a jeep, I can afford to live in a big house and all that, I can afford to wear big clothes. They tend to live beyond their means. You see someone earning a salary of 200,000 naira, or earning an income of 200,000 naira from his business, and is using iPhone 13. No, seriously, what business do you have with using iPhone 13? Using an iPhone is not a bad thing. There are other lower levels of iPhone that one can actually get. So why go for that big iPhone? Or even there are different Android phones, smartphones that can still do the same thing that iPhone 13 is doing for you. But because they want to impress people, because they want to feel yes. And most of all these things, they are both familiar to both genders, both the male and the female. You see a female working as a sales girl in a company, and is wearing a wig of is wearing a wig of 80,000 naira, 100,000 naira. That is living beyond our means. We should live a life according to, we should learn to cut our coats according to our sizes. There is a difference, like I said earlier, there is a difference between I can afford this and I have money to buy this. So when we live beyond our means, it affects our financial growth. Then let's get to still going to number 3 points, or number 3 hindrances to financial growth. That is addiction to gambling. Addiction to gambling. Most persons are so addicted to gambling that they feel that is the only way they can become rich, or that's the only way they can, win, just wake up, win lottery, and boom, they are big. They are so addicted to gambling that it is difficult to keep money with them or have money with them. This can hinder one's financial growth, because you discover that even when you manage to save to an extent, you save money, maybe you want to use it to do a business or anything, before you know it, maybe a new update about a particular gambling site, gambling website, gambling companies and all that, you tend to jump into it immediately. And also, let me draw our attention to the fact that gambling does not just involve all those that do direct gambling, like playing on bets, sporty bets, Bet Niger, and all of those. You know them. I equally know them. So it is not just about that. Gambling also includes venturing into businesses or investments without critical analysis of the outcome or the possibility of growth for that business or investment. It is equally gambling. So most persons are addicted to that. Is why most persons are addicted to gambling. That is why most times, even when they get to hear of business opportunity, they just jump into it without weighing options and without analyzing the options. These are things that can hinder us from financial growth. Very, very well. Then number 4 is procrastination and laziness. Procrastination and laziness can hinder one from financial growth. Let me take, for example, you are an employee, you are working for a particular organization, and currently you are holding the post of an assistant manager, and you already know, according to the company policies and company standard, that for you to become a manager, probably you must have attained or gotten your master's degree, and currently what you have is a degree program. And you always be telling yourself, oh, this year I'm going to enroll for my master's. This year will come and pass, you will not enroll for the master's. Or there is a special certification. Maybe you are an accountant, and you know that for you to grow in that your accounting profession, because as you grow or as you are being promoted, it directly increases your source of income, thereby growing you financially. But because of procrastination, because of laziness, you keep on adjusting, readjusting, procrastinating. I will do it this year will come, I will do it next year will come, I will do it upper here. And that is how you will remain on a particular stage. Or for example, it is not peculiar to only employees. You are a business person, you are self-employed, you are an entrepreneur. You know there are skills you need to learn for you to grow in your business. But because of procrastination and laziness, you keep procrastinating. This very particular one, as I am talking to you, I am equally talking to myself. Currently, I've been telling myself that, okay, it was funny enough. Let me be real, Funny enough, last year it was part of my goal for 2023 that I'm going to learn a new language, which is specifically Hausa language. I want to learn how to speak Hausa, because my current business location is in Abuja, and most of my customer or my market segment is filled with Hausa speaking people. So I have this interest of learning Hausa. But do you know that 2023 has come and gone, and I didn't learn how to speak Hausa? The highest thing I can say is Zo, Yaaki, all those words, But okay, I couldn't achieve that, and I will say it's procrastination. Okay, here again, 2024 is here with us, and I carried that very particular goal over to 2024 because I was not able to achieve it in 2023. So as I am speaking to you, I am equally speaking to myself. So, and I want you guys, the audience, to equally hold me account that by this time next year, if we're going to be having our, by now we're going to be having our volume 4 of this segment, I should be able to speak Hausa. And I also encourage you, you see that very particular thing that you need to do to help you to grow financially. I encourage you this 2024, stop procrastinating it and stop being lazy about it. Take a bold step to do it, because directly or indirectly, for example, I personally, directly or indirectly, if I should learn Hausa, it is going to affect my income positively and equally end up growing me financially. So number 5 is lack of time. Lack of time can actually hinder us from financial growth. Why do I say so? Most times, most people, especially people that are perfectionists, they want to do everything by themselves. If it is not them, they feel nobody else can get it right or can do it perfectly. Let me give you this scenario. Imagine you are a banker or you are a businessman, and you run your business Mondays to Fridays. And that Mondays to Fridays, you leave your house in the morning by 7 a.m. and you come back at night by let's say 8 or 9 p.m. So you hardly have time for yourself. It is only Saturdays and Sundays that you have time, and you use that to rest, to do your house chores and all that, and some few things, or maybe spend time with your families and all that. And now you have this opportunity present to you, where you can work online remotely, over the weekends, and earn additional source of income. But you now feel, as that opportunity come, first you calculate, na this Friday and Sundays I dey use, these Saturdays and Sunday rather I dey use rest and all that. Man, I can't take up this offer, I can't do this job, and you decline it. That is how you miss that very particular opportunity, because of lack of time. Whereas what happens to delegation? What happens to, okay, this weekend offer now can earn me, for example, let's say, can earn me an extra 50,000 naira on a monthly basis. What happens to outsourcing or hiring someone, to a maid, a house help, or a cleaner that can be coming only over the weekend to help you do those house chores, and you pay them, and you discover that the amount you even pay them, or you can use to outsource all those jobs now, will not even be up to, let's say 30 or 40% of the income you are supposed to earn from that remote job you declined. So another thing is it's lack of time, and also inability to manage time. There are some things that we can delegate. That is why persons like Dangote, just like everybody has 24 hours a day, but you discover that most of all these big men, they tend to have more than 24 hours a day, simply because they know how to, they delegate activities and use other people's time to actualize their goal. So then number six of the hindrances to financial growth is greed. Yes, greed. Because you see someone who has struggled from the beginning of the year up to a particular time, and have saved money that he wants to use for investment or business purposes, or a particular project, and before you know it, you hear about one particular company that is paying 40% monthly. That if you invest 100,000 naira, or if you invest 500,000 naira, or if you invest 100,000 naira and above, every month you'll be earning 20% interest, every month you'll be earning 40% interest, every month you'll be earning 50% interest. Before you know it, without even thinking or consulting your financial advisor, without even any consultation or anything, you jump into that very particular offer. And at the end of the day, what happens? The company crashes, the company collapses, and you find yourself starting again from scratch. So greed is another thing that can hindrance one's financial growth. As we move further, we are going to equally look at how to analyze investment opportunities, to know how secured and viable they are before you go into it. Because
coupled with my experience, I've learned a whole lot about investment, and I've discovered some of the red flags we can use to identify a Ponzi scheme business, or companies, most companies that are scammers, that are disguising as legitimate companies just to dupe people. In the course of our teachings, we are going to look at how to identify real investment or viable investment and be able to differentiate them from scammers. Then again, we're at number 7. Number 7 hindrances to financial growth is poor planning of emergency funds. We have talked about emergency funds and the importance of having an emergency funds. Also, one can be hindered from financial growth when he or she fails to plan well for his emergency funds, because emergencies are things that happens unplanned. You don't plan for them. You don't plan for death. Let's say, for example, family member dying. You don't plan. It is not something you plan for. You don't plan to get sick. You don't plan for your car to have an accident. You don't plan for fire outbreak and all that. So, but it is necessary we plan funds to mitigate the effect of those emergencies when they happen. Because when you don't plan them well, you see it affecting other funds that you kept for other purposes. You will now use it for the emergency. Let me give you an example, because like I told you from the beginning, part of what I'm sharing with you is equally my life, as a result of my life experience and my learning over time. There is one that happened to me recently. That was last year July, when we had our first child. Before my wife took in, normally I had, as she got pregnant immediately, I had a savings I was doing for her childbirth, to take care of the childbirth, the hospital bills and all that. So as we are progressing, we get to do scanning and all that to find out the position of the baby, if it is okay and all that. So getting close to the 9 months of the delivery point, the scanning all through was great. It was showing that she's going to deliver freely and all that. So I, on the other hand, I now, the money I was keeping for that very particular emergency, or that very particular purpose, that time was equally a time I had a business going on. I was about to start. So I had to pull some funds out from there in order to put into that very particular business, with the hope or with the belief that scan has been done, everything is going to be successful, she's going to deliver successfully and all that. So but at the end of the day, I find out that we give thanks to God. At the end of the day, she delivered through CS, and that was a different ball game, because the money I had already removed part of it, hoping that it's going to be a successful delivery. And if it was a free, all was successful on a lighter mode. My hope was that it's going to be, if she's going to deliver by herself and all that, and if that should have happened, the cost was going to be less. But at the end of the day, now that it was CS, the cost was high, and the money I had for that very particular savings was not enough again, which affected me financially. It placed me under pressure at that very particular point for me to be able to meet up to that very particular demand. So this is what we're actually talking about also. It is poor planning. It was as a result of what? Poor planning. So we should learn how to plan our emergency funds in such a way that it does not hinder our financial growth and put us under financial pressure. Because remember, the major aim of this teaching is to learn how to live a financially stress-free life, a life free of pressure. Viewers, this is where we're going to be drawing the curtain for today. By tomorrow being the day 5, we are going to continue with the number 8 hindrances of financial growth. Then after then we can start looking at how one can grow financially. Thank you very much for your time, because like I said earlier, this is a serious business and only for serious minded people, because most of us we spend time doing things that are not you know are not beneficial to us mentally, business wise, and all that. Like we you know dedicate more time to fun than things that should build us or develop us. See you tomorrow, and don't forget to like this video, to subscribe to our channel, so that you can be getting these tips and further things that we're going to be dropping on this channel. And equally do well to share this to your loved ones, to people connected to you, people you value, so that they can be getting this information as you are getting it firsthand. Thank you very much, and see you becoming financially stress free.